I'm going to play now Alkan's largest work, and I wanted to say a few words before it because, particularly for the benefit of those people who may not be familiar with Alkan's music, I fell in love with his music when I was still a teenager. I just came across Ronald Smith's recordings of his music, and I just couldn't get over the sheer quality of this amazing piano music. It's very difficult to play, of course, that's what it's most famous for, but you know, what really surprised me was how good the music was. He certainly doesn't deserve the kind of obscurity that he has, and I hope more and more pianists will include his music in the program, and I hope that you will agree after you've listened to this music. The Alkans Concerto, though, is, as I said, a large work. The first movement has more bars in it than the entire Hammer Clavier Sonata of Beethoven. The whole work lasts 55 minutes. But the music... well, I would be very surprised if you walk out, because honestly the music is so compelling that when I first heard this music, I was so in love with it. Even though I didn't fully understand what was going on when you hear it for the first time, I still thought it was incredible, and I didn't want it to end. I remember listening to that first movement and being extremely disappointed when it finally came to a conclusion. And I hope you'll feel the same way. The first movement starts off, it is called a concerto, which obviously means it's for piano and orchestra, except that I have to play all the instruments. It begins with the orchestra, and Alkan's actually put a lot of markings in the score. At the beginning, he actually marks the beginning to be played by the trumpets, by the brass section, like this. It becomes very obvious, though, when the piano comes in, because the whole style of writing changes. This is the piano's opening. And throughout the whole piece, there is this wonderful difference between the orchestra and the piano. It has some absolutely beautiful lyrical moments, also moments of really terrifying ferocity. There's one section in the middle I haven't got time to explain what goes on, but in the middle of the first movement, there is a moment where the whole music seems to grind to a halt, and you have this wonderful feeling that's almost like a Sibelius symphony. You have the main themes combined in a different kind of way, creating this kind of effect. This passage lasts some time and creates a wonderful effect. And when you reach that point, you'll know you're halfway. These last two, the second movement and the last movement, are easier to describe because the slow movement is a really unbelievably lyrical piece of music with a very, very powerful climax in the middle. And the last movement is spectacular fireworks, as only Alkan can do, and a kind of dance rhythm, really. But I just hope you enjoy this music as much as I do. I mean, I think it is an absolute crying shame that this music isn't more well known, and I hope you will agree by the end of this evening. Thank you. Just one other thing I could say is every time Ronald Smith performed this work, and I can brag a little bit because he gave the very first ever complete performance of the Alkans Concerto in 1977. It had never been performed complete before then, and I'm very proud to say that I gave the second ever complete performance of the work just a few months later. But Ronald Smith, every time he performed it, he said, and I know exactly what he meant, he said, this is such a big work, such a significant moment when it's performed, that it is always a big event, and that's what I feel about it too.